But they take a commanding 3-1 series lead and now have a chance to close out the series on Wednesday night and win their first World Series in franchise history. This is the Rangers' 29th game when scoring 10 or more runs. That's most in team history and most by any team since the 2007 Red Sox. The Rangers have also homered in each of their last 15 playoff games. That's the most consecutive games with a homer in a single postseason in MLB history as they improve to 10-0 on the road, and they can clinch the World Series on the road tomorrow night. All right, back here with David Sampson. Let's welcome in another World Series champ, Will Middlebrooks. Helped the Red Sox win the Fall Classic in 2013. Will, the Rangers win 11-7. Got a little dicey, but 10 of their 11 runs with 2 outs. Will, 2-out hitting, huge in the postseason.
Yeah, no Adolis, no problem, right? Like, this offense was rolling. Travis Jankowski stepped in a big spot, went 3 for 4, looked really good. But early in the game, you know, they're facing some of those tough bullpen arms from the Diamondbacks. And I thought what was impressive with the Texas offense was they were seeing pitches. They weren't chasing out of the zone. That's where Arizona's bullpen really feeds off of the aggressiveness of hitters and gets a lot of chase and weak contact outside of the strike zone. Texas did not buy into that whatsoever. They stuck to their approach. They forced them to throw the ball over the plate, and that's where a lot of the loud contact happened.
Yeah, David, how about Travis Jankowski, right? He keeps the inning alive in the second with a 2-out RBI single. He comes to the plate as Adolis Garcia's Game 4 replacement. Here's a guy on a 1-year, $1.25 million deal, goes 2 for 4, 2 RBIs in his World Series debut. I mean, you want to talk about a guy stepping up in the clutch? It's Travis Jankowski.
You tip your cap to what the Rangers did, and I think it's great. This reminds me of when your superstar gets injured and you find a way to win a game right after, but they still have to get one more. And what the Diamondbacks showed to me is they're not just going to roll over. And this is interesting as I look at this series and look at this game. You can't let Seager and Simeon, the keys to victory for the Rangers, you can't let them beat you. It used to be just Garcia. Now I'm focused more at the top of the order. If it's going to be Jankowski, guess what? They're going to win the ring. But at some point, we're going to force him and Heim and Young, we're going to force them to beat me.
Heim homered in this game as well, as did Marcus Semien and Corey Seager. Both of them are making $500 million between them, $500 million between the two of them, and they deliver as they hit 2 homers and 7 RBIs combined. Will, what are you seeing right now? Because Marcus Semien had struggled. I mean, he had been just... You said it. He was due. I mean, this was a guy that was 12 for his last 62 before Game 3. He has more RBIs in this game than he had all postseason. What are you seeing now from Marcus Semien?
This is just baseball. I mean, David will tell you this. This is part of the game. He's a good player. They don't sign guys to contracts like that haven't earned it and haven't shown that they can be a good baseball player. He struggled. There's no way around that. But you had to expect at some point he was going to wake up. The bat was going to wake up, and it was any time in the postseason is a great time. But in Game 4 of the World Series, it's a phenomenal time, especially in a game like this where you have Andrew Heaney on the mound, and you don't need him to just go 1 or 2 innings. You would love to get 5 innings, which they did, and it keeps most of their high leverage arms out of the game, and you can rest Chapman and Spores. And unfortunately, they had to go to Leclerc in that situation. But that's where the experience of Bruce Bochy comes around and says, you know what, I've seen this before. Those bats are starting to heat up. Let's try to nip this now and get this done.
David, you didn't like that. You did not like that had to happen. That Will Smith got 2 outs, gets in a jam, and then we got to bring in Jose Leclerc. And I know he only threw 10 pitches and he gets out of it, gives up a couple runs. And look, you never want to see that. That's just part of baseball, as Will is saying it. But, man, that would have been nice to not have to go and get Leclerc to get out of the game.
I never want to say there are moral victories and a loss because it's so binary. You win or you lose. But in the front office, we would be very happy that the Rangers had to go to Leclerc because if we're the Diamondbacks, and very angry if we are in the Rangers front office because Leclerc went yesterday, and there's a game tomorrow, and it is a clinching game for your first World Series title ever. And if by chance they don't win tomorrow, there's there's still 2 more games. But the reason why he had to go to Leclerc, Bochy's a veteran, he said, we are 1 hitter away from actually a save situation in a game where they had a 10-run lead. Now, some of them are garbage time runs. You could say that. The Diamondbacks may say we're going to try to carry this offensive momentum into Game 5. It's all a bunch of horse hockey. At the end of the day, you lose by 10 runs, you lose by 3 runs. You shake it off, you Taylor Swift it, and you come to the ballpark tomorrow to win your first of 3 in a row. That's the mentality if you're the D-backs.
And one reason why they are 1 win away from their first World Series title is a guy we mentioned, Will, in Corey Seager, a guy they gave a 10-year, $325 million deal, a guy that is stepping up clutch. He was World Series MVP in 2020 for the Dodgers, and it looks like if they win, he will be World Series MVP for the Rangers here in 2023. Will, we talked about Adolis Garcia being locked in. Corey Seager is locked in. His 3rd 2-run homer of the World Series tonight.
No, I mean, he's so balanced right now, Hakeem. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's lefty, righty, off-speed fastball, up, down, in, out, doesn't matter. He's spraying barrels foul pole to foul pole right now. And that's a bad feeling as a guy out on the mound thinking, how do I get this guy out? Like, obviously he's already circled on the lineup card, but now with Garcia out of the lineup, out of the rest of the World Series, I don't expect him to get a whole lot more to hit. Why would you pitch to him? Especially if there's a base open, especially if you have a place to put him. Don't give him anything to hit, because everything he swings at right now is 100-mile-per-hour plus coming off the sweet spot of that bat.
We're going to do an in-depth Game 5 World Series preview coming up. But, Will, if you're on the Texas Rangers right now and you're going to bed tonight and you know you're 1 win away from a World Series, how do you get any sleep? Because you've been in this position. You've been in this position. What is that like?
That's exciting. I mean, it's a great feeling, obviously, and to know that you're up 2 games, right? It's 3-1. You have some cushion, so that pressure's not on you. But you want to get this done, right? Because if the Diamondbacks win tomorrow, I mean, they're feeling pretty good about themselves. You got a day off. You can rest those bullpen arms. Merrill Kelly threw the ball well. No Max Scherzer for the Texas Rangers. So I feel like tomorrow the Texas Rangers are thinking, all right, this is probably a pretty big one. We should probably win this one. They're obviously feeling good about putting up 11 runs. They did give up a lot, garbage time runs, as David called it. And it was a lot of their lower tier bullpen arms that gave up those runs. So I think Texas feeling pretty confident rolling in tomorrow, especially with Nathan Eovaldi on the ball.
I will never forget closing my eyes the night before Game 6, up 3-2 at the Hyatt Hotel at 42nd and Lexington, thinking that we were 27 defensive outs away from winning a World Series in Yankee Stadium. And then I would open just one eye and saying, if we don't win Game 6, we're going to a Game 7 in Yankee Stadium, and then we're going to have 2 tries to have won 1 game. We're going to lose the series 4-3. And I went into a rabbit hole, and I was despondent. I was so excited for the sun to rise so I could go for a run and get to the ballpark, because knowing that you have a chance to get champagne in your eyes, that is a great feeling. So the Rangers come in with that feeling. The Diamondbacks come in saying, hey, we are going to Dallas. What they're being told right now in the clubhouse, the traveling secretary has posted it on the board in the Diamondbacks clubhouse, is you're bringing your suitcase to the game because we're flying. And you're packing not for 1 day, you're packing for the whole trip.
Well, the Rangers are looking to pack it up, seal it, and deliver a World Series title for the first time in franchise history. Will Middlebrooks, he won a World Series ring. David Samson won a World Series ring. And now the Texas Rangers 1 win away from earning their first World Series ring. They are 10-0 on the road this postseason. That is, I mean, just incredible. Awesome. Like, and if they clinch on the road on Wednesday night, what a story that would be for the Texas Rangers. Road, sweet road, David.
An 11-0 road record to get yourself a ring. It's unthinkable.
Remarkable. The Texas Rangers 1 win away. Coverage continues here on CBS Sports HQ. Tori Lavello at the podium.
This was nothing that we saw coming. We've had guys that have been throwing the ball extremely well. We've been picking up the baseball on defense, you know, and it all came unraveled on us there in a matter of 2 innings, and it's 10 runs. So, as you're dissecting it and looking at it, you fall down 11-1, and then you keep fighting. You stay connected. You commit to the plan and the process for 27 outs, and you close the game up to 11-7. Got the fans engaged, got a ton of energy, got their closer in the game. There's a lot of positives to draw upon, and I will. But we got to tighten up the things that we know that went wrong, and we'll do that. And then we'll come out tomorrow, and we got to go 1-0 tomorrow. We got to be ready to play our finest game tomorrow, and not worried about anything else. It's an all-in mentality, and this team has done it every time I can remember. They've never let one another down, and I expect that to be the same tomorrow.
Good. Paul, standing on your left, Tori.
Tori, speaking of positives, Ryan Nelson hadn't pitched a whole lot in the past month. He takes down 68 pitches tonight, 5 innings, leaves a lot of guys untouched for tomorrow. How big was that for moving forward?
It was huge, and I told him that when I was taking him off the mound, and I wanted to make sure that his teammates heard me say that without him, without his effort, without his commitment to staying ready, the disciplines that it takes behind the scenes to make sure that you can go out there and give us 65, 75 pitches and keep us right where we needed to keep this thing. So we're gassed up tomorrow in the bullpen. That was a true team moment. And, you know, because of him, we're going to be in a spot to use our guys tomorrow and hopefully win a baseball game. Without that, we would have been in a really bad spot. And he sacrificed. I know he was gassed out there at the very end, but he sacrificed for the good of his team.
Go 6 rows back on your right, Tyler.
Tori, did you know that Nelson had 5+ innings in him? And if so, would he have been an option to start this game? I know hindsight's perfect, but he did a great job, and the first few relievers did not.
Right. Yeah, I've been talking to Strong about the same thing over the past 4 or 5 days. You know, if Nelson's needed, what is he going to give us? He assured me that he's been staying ready. He's been throwing bullpens, touching fields, and he's maintained a little bit of length. Not quite the 5+ innings that he gave us, but we felt like he was going to be able to give us 6 pitches. Yes, hindsight is 20/20. You know, you look at it a little bit differently after you know what the outcome is, and maybe he was an option for us after an opener. Maybe he was an option for us to start the baseball game, but you know, he did his job and didn't surprise me. I just know that there were some wobbly outings in the postseason, and we were trying to protect him a little bit and build up his confidence and get him in the right spot, and today certainly was that.
Second row on your left here.
Hey, Tori, curious, wanted to get your thoughts on the job that Joe Manaply has done for you, not just tonight, but throughout the second half of the season, throughout the postseason, and why you have such confidence in him to be an opener when you need to go bullpen game.
I like the heartbeat. I like the dedication. I like the ability to execute, and I just thought he was going to be the right man for the right job there, and he did a really nice job. Look, it hasn't been an easy year for Joe. He's an all-star last year. He's trying to duplicate that, trying to make everything perfect. It didn't turn out that way. Found himself in the minors grinding, and I know there was a lot of people around him coaching him up. He accepted that coaching, and he's a very dependable back-end reliever for us. And we switched his role today. I lost that ability to use him on the back end, but I thought that much about him that I needed him to go out there and get what started out as 3 up to 6 outs, and he was really good for us today.
The fourth row on your left.
Tori, just generally, what are the challenges that present themselves with a bullpen game that don't present themselves if you do have a starting pitcher who's capable of going deeper into the game?
Yeah, the obvious ones, the way the game splinters, and you guys got to make some in-game adjustments, and you got to just think things through a little clearly about the best matchups. I've got a ton of information that's really dummied down into one little thought, which makes me less dangerous, and I'm able to go out there and make what I hopefully will believe are great decisions to match up. So it's a game of matching up, and it intrigues me. I know the players are ready for it. I think it intrigues them, and everybody's race ready. So the challenges are to get the right matchups and get the right pieces in place. We felt like we did that. We just didn't execute. You could see what happened. They had their top 3 hitters that had 3 at-bats before the bottom of our order had 1 at-bat. That's unacceptable.
Go to Gabe, second row on your left.
Great message from Tori Lavello to to say, look, we're going to come back. We got to play the finest baseball game we've ever played. Ketel Marte went 2 for 5 in this game, extends his hitting streak to 20 in a row. It's absolutely incredible what he has done throughout the postseason and in his postseason career. But really what the Arizona Diamondbacks are looking to do, they're looking to make history, look to become the 7th team in World Series history to overcome a 3-1 deficit, the last being, I hate saying this, the 2016 Chicago Cubs that did it to my Cleveland then Indians, now Guardians. Man, that was heartbreaking.